We're back in the tavern. We got the homies. We got Nox. We got it going. Tonight, we will be talking about spells. Spells and more spells. Figured it'd be kind of fun just to, we're going to kind of go cross kind of, what is it, round robin? Is that the term? Maybe. Just going to kind of... We've all... Round table? I don't know, man. We've all kind of selected some spells that we all like, that are kind of our go-tos. And then we've selected some spells that are kind of ones that we like, but wish we were kind of a little tweaked or different or changed. And then we'll kind of go over some spells that were like, this spell sucks ass. If my player uses it against me, I want to like delete them from existence. But they're having fun, I'm having fun, right? So that's what we're kind of doing tonight. So, yeah, we'll just jump right into it. I keep thinking I need to pull something up, but I'm just going to read all the spells off my phone because I screenshot all of them for simplicity. But yeah, I say if we want to, we can go ahead and, well, first of all, Logan's in the fish tank.
Dude, every time. Literally, my camera was fine all of stream. I looked up as soon as I was like writing something down, and I looked up as soon as the stream started, and I was like, would you look at that? My camera's fucked.
It's half ceiling, half. It's like all blur, half ceiling. You can see his forehead only. Yeah, get that. Hey, use that long ass neck, my boy.
We all got pretty substantial things. I mean,
yo, giraffe gang.
That was not the call out to use. Yeah.
Giraffe gang.
Right.
Giraffe. All right.
Get those fucking high leaves, dude.
All right, let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so first, let's do spells that are our go-tos that we love. Connor, I'm just gonna make a quick guess on my bingo card. If Fireball's on your list, and
I explicitly chose not to do Fireball.
Okay, all right.
Only because we all get it, we all love it. That's the only reason.
It's true.
It's a really good spell. I like it. One of my spells that I chose, I don't use it as often as I'd like to. Partially because, yeah, mainly because I don't play a wizard as much as I'd like to. But it's Phantasmal Killer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna look this up too, so I can follow along. Basically,
well, I'll read it real quick.
Yeah, read it. Yeah. Read. As we do this, let's just go ahead and read it out loud, unless it's like a fat ass wall of text. But yeah.
Crazy, yeah. So 4th level, 120 range. It's visual, it's verbal, and somatic. It's a concentration spell, which I do like concentration spells quite a bit. But it's you tap into a creature's tap into the nightmares of a creature you can see within range and create an illusionary manifestation of its deepest fears. Visible only to that creature. The target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the target becomes frightened for the duration. At the end of each of the target's turns before the spell ends, the target must succeed another wisdom saving throw or take 4d10 psychic damage on a successful save.
Yeah.
Really, I just like that. It's good single target damage, which is fun for concentration, especially. It's Bard optional and Wizard optional. I don't know if that means a subclass specific one or like a UA type deal, because I am on D&D 5e wiki.dot, so I don't know the ruling on what they throw in there.
Yeah, I don't actually.
I do like the somewhat like the possibility of casting this in a more subtle situation.
Yeah.
Because there's always the damage, and the damage is great. Like if you put this on a target, for one, you debuff them, and then two, like it's doing constant damage as long as you keep concentration. They can always save, but I do like spell effects that meant with the mental faculties of people.
Yes. Well, I know what I love about those so much too is like I do like the idea of like it's a single individual experiencing their actual nightmare, and like everyone else is like, "You good, fam?" And he's like losing his mind. And then I love these because I love those kinds of spells too, because it's such a good just raw explanation of psychic damage. Like this dude is going through it so heavily that his brain is just tweaking out, and it just like spikes their mind.
Yeah.
Like
I will say, that's the 4th level spell. I do somewhat like Phantasmal Force better as a 2nd level spell. The only reason I like it better is because you can do something like make an illusion. Like it explains, you can make an illusion of a bridge. They walk across a bridge, and if they fall because there was no bridge, in their mind they make up a reason for it. Instead of there was magic, they go like, that plank was loose, that's why I fell. So any of the Phantasmal tagged spells I'm a big fan of, but of course that's the one I picked.
Hell yeah. Also, Jensry, thank you so much for the follow. Hey, fantastic streamer, I love your stream. Hey, thanks. Appreciate that. But at work right now, would you mind adding me on Discord so as to tell me your streaming schedule so I can watch some other time by Discord name?
Never!
I was going to say, unfortunately, don't really have any means for Discord, but I mean, all of our schedule is on the Twitch channel, so you can easily just find it there. It's all kind of encompassing on the profile. But thanks for the follow. Appreciate you.
Yeah. I yelled never, assuming that I was wrong. So that's my.
Well, we don't have an actual like Discord for the channel. So I mean, but I mean, the channel has everything. It's all encompassing. So I try to keep the schedule as up to date as possible. So. But yeah, all right. No, I good choice. I actually saw that one and I was like, man, I also like the name Phantasmal Killer. Like, God.
Yeah.
All right, Logan. Go ahead. If you have anything else.
Only thing I was gonna say, part of why I like spells like that is because they're unique if a player's using them, and they're devastating if an enemy's using them.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I like it. Is because a player with Phantasmal Killer might get used a couple times, and it might be pretty cool. If there's a silent assassin that has that spell and they use it on your bard in a social setting, that's fucking frightening.
Yeah.
So
100%.
That's always fun. Yeah.
Hell yeah. No, dude, in a lot of these spells, when I think of it, I always usually think of player to NPC or like creature, and I never truly like think about it the other way around. Only because like, and I will say, as I was going through the list, I didn't have a lot of exposure with a lot of the upper end spells. That's why I didn't really choose a whole lot of them, because we don't play too far up in there. But no, Phantasmal Killer's dope. So, all right, Logan, what's the spell? What's your go-to? Yeah, what's up, fishy?
Is Spirit Shroud. It's from Tasha's Cauldron.
Spirit Shroud.
Bonus action, range self. It is a level 3 necromancy spell. You call forth the spirits of the dead, which fit around you for the spell's duration. The spirits are intangible and invulnerable. Until the spell ends, any attack you make deals 1d8 extra damage when you hit a creature within 10 feet of you. This damage is radiant, necrotic, or cold, your choice when you cast the spell. Any creature that takes damage can't regain hit points until the start of your next turn.
That is
In addition,
really good.
any creature of your choice that you can see that starts its turn within 10 feet of you has its speed reduced by 10 feet until the end of your next turn. It's Cleric, Paladin, Warlock, and Wizard optional. I know that Paladin, you can take it on any subclass. Warlock, you can take it on any subclass. Cleric and Wizard, I don't know about, but I did take it on my Hexblade Warlock.
No shit. Yeah.
Let me tell you,
hell yeah.
That is a wonderful spell for Hexblade Warlock, especially with the slowing feature and then having an evocation to get Eldritch Blast to pull people 10 feet closer to you. It is a nightmare of a combination for anyone trying to run away from you.
Dude, this is actually brutal.
I like that it's concentration because it's super good.
Yeah.
But it requires you to be in melee. And yeah, anytime you could get hit and it could drop. But the whole time you don't, you're doing. I like spells like this. You're doing a lot of small things within your attack, but all of them are very consequential and kind of play into each other. You stay here. I'm gonna beat your ass. Good looking at hit points. Like if you're toe-to-toe with a boss, let's say, and for whatever reason you're not getting hit, you're doing devastating work. Just keeping hit points away.
Well, it's also a bonus action.
It's a bonus action.
Wild.
Yeah.
I
Bonus
love the
actions.
hit point stopping
Love 'em.
because a lot of the time, you cast Chill Touch to stop something from regaining hit points. You're just like, boom, I'm gonna cast Chill Touch on you, but you're spending a whole turn casting Chill Touch on someone, versus this is just active all the time, so you can burn a little bit more resources. Especially as a Warlock, you're burning one of your 3 spell slots that you have on this, but it is a very powerful choice.
Yeah.
If you're doing Paladin Warlock or just doing Paladin, you cast this, you throw a little smitey smite behind it, you can't, and that's everything a Paladin is. You're just adding an extra D8 to whatever you're throwing at them.
And then upcasting it takes 2 levels up, but like casting this at a 5th level to have 2d8 extra per swing that you take is
I didn't even realize that.
Super good.
Wow, I've never seen a spell upcast for a cost of 2. That's actually kind of crazy.
I know Tasha's did a lot of unique things with their spells, and this is certainly an example of it.
And then
I like that it's not every level above, because then
that'd be insane.
Every level above, dude.
Yeah, that'd be brutal.
Like
that'd be.
I cast
you
this
have
level and I delete you.
You have a blade singing wizard that's just like, I'm gonna cast Spirit Shroud at 8th level, and you're just sitting there crying.
I can imagine having my boy, what was Virden, if he had this spell effect, that would have been a very good combo for the Blade Singer.
Yeah.
We are all fortunate. Well, a large number of Goliaths are not fortunate that he didn't have this, but aside from that,
R.I.P.
It's probably good.
R.I.P. And then I do like the triple selection: Radiant, Necrotic, or Cold. I really like that Cold kind of thrown in there.
I think it's flavorful for this being a Necromancy.
If you also like turn off your camera and back on, that usually fixes my blur, but I don't know if that's like an easy thing you can do.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
There he is.
And that's what I do. I'll
Crispiest man.
I'll look over and I'm like, oh, blurry, and then I'll just immediately hit a quick double tap and we're good. That's a good spell though. I like that a lot.
That's a really good choice.
It's a wonderful spell. I found it while I was going through and I was making my because I'm pretty sure Hexblade. No, is Hexblade from Tasha's or Xanthar's? Hexblade's from Xanthar's, but I just got Tasha's around the same time.
Yeah.
I was like flipping through and I was like, the first session I used it, my DM was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like,
what is that?
I know, right? It's crazy.
He said, "Yeah, I'm just as surprised as you are that this is working out." No, and it was funny is going through the whole list of spells. It's hilarious when I'm like looking. I'm like, "What is that really cool spell I've never seen before in my entire player's handbook spell?" I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, right. Sometimes they got some heat.
That's nuts, man.
I'm like, "Oh, that's sick." Okay.
Speaking of, what's yours, man?
Okay, so I think it's a good old classic, man. Is the spell Slow, transmutation, one action, 120 feet, verbal, somatic, material, concentration up to 1 minute. A lot of concentration spells we're dropping out here, but I think concentration are just like super well rounded. You alter time around up to 6 creatures of your choice in a 40-foot cube within range. Each target must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw or be affected by the spell for the duration. An affected target's speed is halved. It takes a -2 penalty to AC and Dexterity saving throws, and it can't use reactions. On its turn, it can either use an action or bonus action, not both. Regardless of the creature's abilities or magic items, it can't make more than one melee or ranged attack during its turn. If the creature attempts to cast a spell with a casting time of 1 action, roll a d20. On an 11 or higher, the spell doesn't take effect until the creature's next turn, and the creature must use its action on that turn to complete the spell. If it can't, the spell is wasted. A creature affected by the spell makes another Wisdom saving throw at the end of each of its turns. On a successful save, this effect ends for it. This spell is so brutal.
That is really damn good.
It's so brutal, and what I love about it too is the fact that oh, did I not hit? Oh shoot! I've sent an audio message. Oh wait, no. Hold on. Sorry, 1 second. I have to do something real quick. Sorry, I apologize.
Okay. No, you're good. I'm making sure you're fine.
No, we're good. I sent an audio message, and then the person reached out and was like, "Hey, it disappeared." And I was like, "Oh no, I have to resend it." But then I just resend it. We're good. No, the fact that it's up to 6 creatures is wild. It's wild.
That's crazy, dude.
And what I like about this spell too is like a lot of spells will be. Hey, what's he doing?
Hey, I just gave him a wave.
Hey. No, but what I love about this spell though too is up to 6 creatures. It like a lot of spells that have up to whatever number usually are kind of lower on the power scale because it's dispersed. But this spell is just absolutely disgusting, and it's dispersed.
Right, because if you think about it, again, AOE spells like Fireball. You tell yourself you're gonna get 40 motherfuckers in that radius, but realistically, you're not 6. You're kind of lucky to get 6.
Yeah.
But this, you don't have to worry about radius. You're just like you 3 back there. Fuck you 2. You know, just
it's a 40-foot cube. It's a 40-foot cube within range.
Oh, never mind.
But it's 120 feet. It's 120.
My window was just cropping that part of the sentence.
No, but still, like, no, you're right though. 120 feet for a spell like this is actually wild.
Yeah, okay, it is good. 40-foot cube is still really good.
I'm pretty sure it's 4th level though. I cut that portion off. I think it's 4th level.
3rd level.
Is it 3rd?
Level. Yeah, 3rd level. Same level as a Fireball, which really wombo combo. Do this to them, they have disadvantage on their dexterity saves, Fireball them.
Well, what's also crazy about this too is that this is a very good spell against a single target too, and that's what I love about it too. I brought this with Braff, and I slowed. Wait, no, is it Braff? I slowed. What did I slow? Oh, I slowed I slowed that like the shambling mound, like the root creature. I slowed it for a round or two. And like there's only, and I was looking at it, I was like, oh, there's only one of them, but it was still incredibly good against one creature. Like
I do remember the -2 AC in particular being really good, just because of that.
So I think it's just the hard, and I'm pretty sure it's from the player's handbook. So it's just a solid classic. So that's one of mine, one of my favorites. Okay. And then I feel like what we should do is we should go through like each category. So instead of all doing favorites and then switching through everything, we should all do a favorite and then all do a one we like but would tweak, and then we can do a one that we don't like.
That's actually what I have lined up right now.
All right, perfect. Go ahead.
It is another level 3. We all already change it, I think, when we use it, which is why I'm bringing it up. It's Daylight.
Oh, okay.
Famously, Daylight does not, rules as written, produce actual daylight.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah. It makes a sphere of bright light and sheds dim light. Partially in the Redmire Hunt, Daylight several times was an incredibly powerful spell used situationally in certain environments with the creepy crawlies, which there were many. There were multitudes, but yeah, range 60 feet, duration an hour, a 60-foot radius sphere of light spreads out from a point you choose within range. The sphere is bright light, sheds dim light for additional 60 feet. You choose a point on an object you're holding or one that isn't being worn or carried. The light shines from the object with and moves with it, completely covering the afflicted object with an opaque object such as a bowl or a helm blocks them. Okay, and this is another part. If the spell's area overlaps with an area of darkness created by a spell 3rd level or lower, the spell that created the darkness is dispelled.
Yeah, I think that's.
I think the Daylight is a fantastic spell. The only change I make is the very important ruling, especially in fantasy tropes, is Daylight produces daylight, like actual daylight. Because
vampires.
A big thing, vampires. I guess spoilers for, well, not spoilers, but alluding spoilers, I guess. There's Baldur's Gate uses daylight as I'm describing. There's certain situations where daylight would not be a useful spell, but it treats daylight like actual physical daylight.
Hell yeah.
They already moved the needle there.
Thank God.
But yeah, it's a super small change, and I think most people already do it, but I would be remiss not to mention it.
Well, I will say, I mean, even going back, I mean, considering Fireball's a 3rd level, Slow's a 3rd level, Spirit Shroud's a 3rd level, like we've already kind of mentioned. I'm actually a little surprised that this being a 3rd level, one, doesn't produce daylight, like you're saying, but even like doesn't do anything against undead. Like I feel like if an undead is affected within this radius, it should deal like even like a D8 or D10 of like radiant damage. I think would be like warranted for a whole ass 3rd level spell.
What I did with it in the Red Mire is when the Nightshade was affected by daylight, I gave it sensitivity, so it was rolling with disadvantage with a lot of it.
Right. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, and it was just cool
for that creature. But I think there's definitely as a DM, you could change how it might affect creatures that would be sensitive to daylight. You know, especially if you're in a dungeon, as adventurers tend to end up in. Introducing daylight to a famously dark and damp environment might affect its inhabitants.
You know, right. So. Well, I know vampires too.
Yeah, vampires especially.
Go ahead, Logan.
Yeah, because they can't regenerate during the day when there's daylight out near them and stuff like that. And I mean, like, burning a spell slot for that when basically the same thing you're doing is just a more amped version of the light cantrip.
Exactly.
Kind of sucks sometimes.
It does.
It has no special effects.
And it lasts only an hour. Like, for being a 3rd level, I would expect it at least to last 8. Like, and then you can dismiss it. But the fact that it, like, I feel like, and I'm glad you brought this up because I forgot about this, but I think we talked about it before. I think we talked about it literally in the Red Mire Hunt. But yeah, this is a spell that for 3rd level needs an overhaul. And I think all the things we said would be a great addition.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the new UA that we talked about had certain things that were kind of steering away from special effects, situational effects of certain spells. I think Daylight's in need of a special effect as we're talking about undead creatures, or maybe creatures of the Shadowfell, or things like that.
100%.
You know, situational, but it needs to have an effect.
Which I dislike steering away from situational effects and spells because that's very enjoyable, especially like if daylight actually created daylight. For the most part, that's not super useful, but if you happen to run into like a vampire, army of kobolds, the shambling mound you guys found, that like those are very specific monsters that you fight that have daylight sensitivity, and so that comes super useful when you have that.
Does this specifically say it doesn't do daylight, or just doesn't specifically say it does, right?
It doesn't say, and I think the classic let's tweet at Jeremy Crawford answer it does not produce daylight.
Oh, douche. All right, we're good. All right, we're better. We're better than that. All right, Logan.
I believe. I don't remember specifically.
No, we'll add him. We'll add him in the chat.
There you go.
Hold on, let me add him in the chat.
Knock is the spell, because I think it's ass. I think it's just there in so many uses. There's so many better things for it, but it is a 2nd level casting time of 1 action, has a range of 60 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Choose an object that you can see within range. The object can be a door, a box, a chest, a set of manacles, a padlock, or any other object that contains a mundane or magical means that prevent access.
Mm-hmm.
A target that is held shut by a mundane lock or is stuck or barred becomes unlocked, unstuck, or unbarred. If the object has multiple locks, only one of them is unlocked. If you choose a target that is held shut with an arcane lock, the spell is suppressed for 10 minutes during the time the target can be opened and shut normally. When you cast the spell, a loud knock audible as far as 300 feet away emanates from the target.
Okay. I'm curious what your thoughts on are for this.
Okay, first off, for arcane locks, it only does it for 10 minutes, and then you have to either immediately cast the spell a 2nd time on the lock to actually unlock it, or you just get someone with lockpicks. For any other normal lock, you just grab someone with lockpicks.
Okay.
And almost no scenario are like, am I gonna burn a 2nd level spell slot when I trust my rogue with plus 30 billion instead of sleight of hand?
I know what Connor's gonna say.
I will say, if you happen to have a dog shit rogue, I think it's cast it 4 times as we make our way to town. I cast knock. I want to say 4 times.
Wait, are you adding Axoff right now?
I am adding Axoff, the one-eyed fuck. Gonna lockpick his dick out of his pants.
I mean, there's scenarios like that. 100%. Is applicable. The problem is, for the most part, like, you're gonna figure out a different way around the lock rather than burning a 2nd level spell slot on it. Especially because it's Bard, Sorcerer, Wizard, and Sorcerer, Wizard only get spells back on a long rest. So I don't want to use one of my spells to open the fucking pickle jar.
He said it's stuck, my boys. Think.
And for 300 feet, everyone hears.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the other. The 300 feet, that makes no sense to me. Honestly, if you take away the 300 feet, it would be. I think it'd still be a lot better of a spell.
The only way you can is subtle spell casting it as a sorcerer, really.
Well,
I subtle spell knock.
Well, I think that
put a fucking suppressor on the.
I mean, I think the knock spell, because I think like the knocking portion is so they can name it that, like they can name it knock. I don't think 300 feet. I think 300 feet is mad excessive. Like that's kind of like that's literally blatantly Wizards of the Coast being like, we want the guards to hear you unlocking that gate. We want it to happen. Like it's basically like a massive nerf intentional to stopping stealth operations.
Yeah. I think part of it is to make sure this spell is not overlapping too heavily with what a rogue can do.
Yeah, but I would agree with Logan where I think what it should happen is if there's an arcane lock on something, I think you should have to roll like a DC, and then it's either if you fail it, it's a 10-minute suppression. If you pass it, it negates it, or something of that effect. Or
and don't make them re-unlock the lock under it too, because it's like if you're doing it on an arcane lock, it removes the arcane component, and then you still have to break through the lock.
Yeah. Yeah, or you could upcast this, and I think you should be able to upcast it kind of like Counterspell, where the higher you upcast it, the higher the easier it is to negate completely arcane locks. I agree.
Right.
I mean, I think it's a good category for it, where it's like it's cool spell, but there are some things where it's like, bro, really, like we need like.
I think arms races with certain spells. That's why I'm a huge fan of Counterspell. As like I like the Counterspell versus Counterspell thing. Because, like, I cast like a 3rd or 4th or whatever. I don't see why Knock and Arcane Lock can't have a similar arms race. Like, I'm going to cast Arcane Lock on the door behind us because I know there's people potentially coming. I don't know if there's a spell caster, so I'm going to put 5th level Arcane Lock on it.
Right.
And he just is like, you gotta hope, because when you hear that knock on that door, like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh,
Your fucking
no.
face.
He casts knock at a 7th level. He's coming.
Bro casts Arcane Lock, here's a knock, door swings open, fireball just hits him square in the
Roll initiative, you pissed off a diva.
Not only that, it's level 2, and at level 3 you have Dispel Magic.
Yes, which
So,
will
like-
handle Arcane Lock pretty well.
Yeah,
Right.
You're going up and you're walking up and you're like, oh man, this didn't unlock the magical lock. It just suppressed the effect. When you just upcast 1 level, go to level 3, Dispel Magic the arcane part of it, and then you can go through and start to like figure out the lockpick. But yeah, dude,
Good.
it's okay. It doesn't fit
what's
any role.
quieter than knock is a vial of acid.
Yeah,
Just
a lot of
handle
things.
it.
A lot of things.
Acid.
Well, I think
A lot
that's
of
why not a lot of people literally take knock, and I think that's why
Yeah.
like Logan's hitting the head, man, like or nail on the head with this. Like literally, hey yo, with like if this spell was better or if this spell was good, people would take it. But I think it's one of those things
Right.
where it's like in certain circumstances, like if party had no rogue and the wizard had to be the fucking rogue, then cool, take this. But generally, you have somebody that can do lockpicks. So, all right.
And Shatter is quieter than this.
Oh
one.
yeah, actually true. Actually, facts,
Shatter
hold
is
on.
quiet. I had to
Yeah.
double check that. I was like, I'm pretty sure Shatter is quieter than this spell. 100%. Shatter is quieter than this spell, which is wild to me because you're just like, yeah, I'm unlocking a lock, dude, and all of a sudden, fucking everyone in town can hear the turning of the gears as the lock unlocks, dude.
Yeah, that's whack. That's whack. All right. Let's move on. Next one. Good choice though. All right, this spell, I love this spell. Never use it because it's actually shit, and the chance of it working is actually whack. And maybe you guys would agree. I don't know if you've ever experienced this one. The spell Contagion, 5th level. Have you guys ever had this one?
Let me double check.
The first time I saw this one was in Critical Role Campaign 1 when I was watching it. And I like to, whenever they cast spells, I'm like, what is that? I'll look it up. And I read through it, and I'm like, this is dope. And then I realized like the stipulations, and it's really shit. It's kind of a heifer, so I'll go through kind of the main chunk of it. Okay, so 5th level, so a top tier spell. Necromancy, 1 action, requires touch, which is another can be a hindrance as well. But your touch inflicts disease. Make a melee spell attack against a creature within your reach. So first of all, you have to hit it. On a hit, the target is poisoned. Okay. At the end of each of the poisoned target's turn, the target must make a Constitution saving throw. If the target succeeds on 3 of these saves, it is no longer poisoned and the spell ends. If the target fails 3 of these saves, the target is no longer poisoned, but choose one of the diseases below. The target is subjugated to the chosen disease for the spell's duration. Real quick, I could not get it all encompassed into my screenshot, so let me look it up.
I have it right here. Yeah.
All right. Since the spell induces a natural disease in its target, any effect that removes a disease or otherwise ameliorates a disease's effects apply to it. I don't know what the fuck that means. Anyway, before I'm gonna read a couple of these. Okay, so blinding sickness. Pain grips the creature's mind and its eyes turn milky white. The creature has disadvantage on wisdom checks and wisdom saving throws and is blinded. Super cool. Choose another one. Mind fire. The creature's mind becomes feverish. The creature has disadvantage on intelligence checks and intelligence saving throws. The creature behaves as if it was under the effects of the confusion spell during combat. And then just the third, there's like 6 of them, but I'll just read another one. Slimy Doom. The creature begins to bleed uncontrollably. The creature has disadvantage on Constitution checks and Constitution saving throws. In addition, whenever the creature takes damage, it is stunned until the end of its next turn. All right, so while I was reading it, it was actually a little bit better than I thought, only because when it reads on a hit, the target is poisoned. Generally, the verbiage for a lot of these spells is it gets the poison condition, and so in my mind, I never actually thought this spell is giving the poison condition. So in theory, you do have the creature is suffering the poison condition throughout this, right. I believe. But even then, for a 5th level spell, it's all right, I suppose. But for me, I think how you would, first of all, you have to roll 6 checks and you have to get 3 off before, if you have any hope of getting this to activate, which is crazy, honestly, because not only does that have to happen, but it also is happening over the course of pretty much the entire combat. So anything you want it to actually afflict it with, it will probably be it's either dead or you're dead before it affects it, or it negates the spell entirely.
Right.
So that's just annoying. But I really like the concept. It's a 7-day duration and it's a natural disease. What I think you could do to change this is make it so that depending on the save to fail ratio, it inflicts a certain disease scaling. That's what I think it should be. Sure.
Yeah. I think for one, some of these diseases are really bad. Some of them are fine.
Yeah.
Flesh rot. A creature's flesh decays. Creature has disadvantage on charisma checks and is vulnerable to all damage. Holy shit, that's pretty bad. Some of the other ones like wisdom save and is blinded. Like, okay, all of them are pretty bad. None of them actually read it. Like some of them, the confusion effects somehow better. Just try not to get into combat, I guess. Fucking seizure is pretty good.
Are you saying bad as in like bad to be affected by it, or bad as in like it's
bad to be affected?
Okay.
Yeah, all of them are bad to be affected by. The thing is really, it's campaign specific, I guess. Certain campaigns, this is gonna be horrible because you guys are fucking crawling through a dungeon. There's no safe way out. You got to keep fighting. You're gonna go through 6 sessions dealing with fucking flesh rot. Like,
with the
I hope you make it. But again, player using this on an enemy, there's less chance of the enemy surviving combat and coming back later. Like if you poison a bad guy, just with how the game works, unless the party's like on their heels hunting them through the fucking woods, the bad guy's gonna leave and be sick for a while, get better, come back and beat ass about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think that honestly, I mean, you could do a lot to this. I think this is a super cool baseline spell. I just think the stipulations to have it actually become become relevant is just there's too many barriers. Like you could not only do they got to make a jillion saves, but you also have to hit them. If you do not hit them, your 5th level spell is now even more useless.
I want to say Contagion tells me it'd be contagious, and it's not.
Yeah.
Which would be cooler.
It's hard for me with how many checks you have to make too for all of these.
Exactly.
You essentially make a death save for the poison is what you're making.
Exactly.
And you make 3 of them. You have to succeed 3 of them. Also, I would give this to an Oath of Conquest paladin, not just a cleric and druid. Oath of Conquest paladin should have this too.
Oh hell yeah, I agree.
You're not using it as a smite. Just like I'm gonna use my turn to punch him in the head with a 5th level contagion.
Yeah, man, this spell's super cool, but
doom dipshit and
get slime, bitch.
Yeah.
I like how one's also called seizure. Like holy shit.
Yeah. Flesh rot, filth fever, seizure, a real seizure.
Yeah,
you have one.
Yeah, you're afflicted with seizures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you had a heart attack.
Yeah, heart attack, heart palpation,
yeah,
dude.
Every day of those 7 days, you need to roll death saves to help you pass dipshit.
Blood clot. Anyway, that's Contagion. I wish it was better.
That's a good spell.
I wish it was better.
And what is the next category?
Next category, if you have one, is literally just spells that you're like, this spell's fucking dumb, get rid of it. And that could be either because you think it just mechanically is just stupid, or you just disagree with it, or you don't like it being used against you. That's also valid because sometimes spells being used against you, even though they might be cool for players, sucks as DMs or vice versa. So whatever you can if you need to go back or need a moment, Connor, we can jump to Logan.
I will need a moment, for this.
Logan, do you have one?
I like a lot of them.
Fucking gas. I hate mind control. I think it's stupid. Specifically, as a player,
Is it mind control the spell, or is it like a mind control effect?
It's a mind control effect.
Okay.
I don't think this is like unbalanced really in any way. I just, as a player, as well as a DM, I hate mind control just because I feel like you're taking away agency.
Yes.
If you're taking it away from a player as a DM, then that sucks for them because they're stuck in combat while you're having their character do things. Or if you're taking away agency as a player and you can't do anything, then you're like, man, this sucks. It is a 5th level enchantment. It has a range of 60 feet, a casting time of 1 minute, and a duration of 30 days. You place a magical command on a creature that you can see within range, forcing it to carry out some service or refrain from some action or course of activity as you decide. If the creature can understand you, it must succeed a wisdom saving throw or become charmed by you for the duration, which again is 30 days.
Hold on. Sorry, what what spell is this real quick?
Geas. Geas.
Oh, okay. I actually saw this when I was filtering through, but I didn't actually click it. Go ahead.
So you place a magical wisdom saving throw or become charmed by you. While the creature is charmed by you, it takes 5d10 psychic damage each time it acts in a manner that directly counters your instructions, but no more than once each day. A creature that can't understand you is unaffected by the spell. You can issue any command you choose, short of an activity that would result in certain death. Should you issue a suicide command, the spell ends, and your spell ends early if you use an action to dismiss it or remove curse, greater restoration, or wish spell to end it. If you use it at 7th or 8th level, the duration is a year. If you cast the spell using a 9th level, the spell lasts until one of the spells above stops it.
Damn, dude. Hold on. First of all, 30 days is crazy. 30 days is wild.
I will say, to be contrarian in
of course.
Only
here we go.
To be,
yes, sir.
I generally like things that mess with people's minds. I think that can be fun, depending on how it's done. I think the mechanics of the spell are pretty fucking rough.
Yeah.
As far as, like, especially to a player. As a DM, like, the worst you're gonna do to me is affect, like, a storyline or fuck up a PC I really was excited about or change things. Like, okay, I'll deal with it. But, like, if you do this to a player, fuck.
Yeah, that's actually kind of, you're actually kind of a dick.
Yeah, that's my main, we had that happen during one of our encounters as players, and it was one of the most frustrating things ever, because we're already, like, struggling to do things, and suddenly, like, one person is totally out for until we can find someone to fix them. So we didn't have any casters that had greater restoration or remove curse at the time, and so we're either waiting on a long rest, you know, to go back and figure that out, or to, like, go re-prepare spells, or we're waiting on finding someone who would be able to fix it. So it's like, it's not a terrible spell. I hate mind control as a thing. In very specific situations, like Enthrall from Vampires is really cool. But a mind control spell that lasts 30 days to a year is infuriating.
Totally fine. Oh wait, never mind.
Infuriating, man. So
no, I agree. There's situations, and that is not a good one. That's fucked up.
Yeah, that one's pretty iffy. That one's kind of tough. I'm not gonna lie, and I agree with you 100%, Logan. If you have things that just, like, demolish agency, and I would say, like, especially like as DMs getting stuff like this happen to you, like, you know, it can suck, but, you know, at least, you know, you have more toys to play with. Like, just getting a character to just get absolutely shafted by something like this is just brutal. So, in any situation, so yeah, good one. I like that. Connor, did you find one?
I did. It is a similar vein, I will say, but I think this one's a more famous case of being a bit shit.
Okay.
Charm Person.
Oh, you motherfucker! I was gonna do that one. Wait, no.
Were you?
Yeah, no.
Level 1.
No. Actually, I was gonna do Charm Person. No, you're good. Go ahead. I was gonna do Charm Person for my. I like, but tweak it. But go ahead. You can hate. If you hate this, you hate this.
I don't like it only because it is mind trick. So I think players love mind tricks in general. And it's just a really, really bad implementation mechanically. Range of 30 feet. Action, one spell action. But yeah, you attempt to charm a humanoid you see within range and must make a wisdom saving throw. It does so with advantage if you of your companions are fighting it. If it fails the saving throw, it's charmed by you until the spell ends or until your companions do anything harmful to it. Which, if you have ever played D&D, is going to be in about 10 seconds.
It is par for the course, man.
Yeah. The charmed creature regards you as a friendly acquaintance. When the spell ends, the creature knows it was charmed by you.
Time.
You could go into an area where magic's illegal, magic doesn't exist, the totalitarian state doesn't magic is what's magic? That's fairy tale shit. you do this little spell effect to get free fucking bread. On your way out, the guy just goes, magic's real for 1, and for 2, he used a first level charm spell on me, that son of a bitch.
Yep.
And also, it's a first level spell, so it doesn't have to be that good. I understand it has advantage on the check if you're fighting it, I get that, but I just feel like Charm Person is such it could be a lot more of a spell. It could be doing a lot more than like you now have a friendly acquaintance. I don't know if you know many friendly acquaintances. That's how I describe most of my coworkers. I still can't get you to do shit for me. I can't get a fucking crane to my job site in a day with all my friendly acquaintances. Like, they can't do things still.
Well, that I was actually gonna say, and that's interesting that like a lot of spells or some spells will actually specify like you now have I think Star Wars 5e does a good job of doing it, where it's like you now have advantage on charisma-based skill checks, and I like that because it's more of like a encompassing kind of realistic RP way for it to occur, instead of it being like, oh, this person is now mentally your friend or mentally like on good terms. I like the fact that it still requires a player to do something, to say something, and then to get their way through some sort of like navigation, not just like, oh, I've never met you before in my life. What's up, Timmy? I've known you my whole life, man. We're good friends. What's up? What can I do for you? And then also after a minute goes by, they want to beat your ass.
Yeah, exactly. That is the biggest thing. I feel like most players I know, the person you charm will know you charmed them based on actions later. Like, they will get it, but like making it a stipulation of the spell, I feel like Charm Person was kind of forced into a first level and then nerfed to hell to make it stay not overpowered.
Right.
It's kind of how I feel. I feel like if Charm Person was 2nd or 3rd level, and some of the kind of restraints were taking off it, you know, and it was less vague. Like, yeah, as you're saying, advantage on the spell. A check could make points. Advantage on deception, persuasion. Or, you know, even something like you get to choose deception or persuasion because it could be true to you or the person. You know, something like that.
Right.
Anything that makes it so Charm Person should be for social situations. And obviously the big caveat of the creature knows it was charmed needs to go away.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually I think something like this would be really cool too if it went down the route of Pass Without a Trace, where instead of it giving you advantage, +5 to all your charisma-based skill checks with it. That way it's a raw number and it's more of a bonus, because I do think that Pass Without a Trace, I feel like, is one of the best spells in the game, only because it is blatantly +10. Bro, you can roll a 3 and you're still above like the average threshold. And if you're going as passive perceptions, a lot of creatures don't have high passive perceptions. So it is incredibly good. So I think that'd be cool if Charm Person was actually tweaked to where to you know, to maybe just be a +5 and everything or whatever. But for sure.
I think I think Charm Person is not the worst offender. I just think it comes up a lot often is the problem.
Yeah.
I have had many builds where I'd love to use Charm Person, and I have never taken Charm Person on any character I've ever played.
Right, because it just doesn't. It's not doing what needs to be done.
No, I might have put it on a spell list, but I'm sure as hell I've never used it.
Yeah, you're like, maybe this will come. No, it doesn't. It doesn't come up. All right, so for me, spell I absolutely fucking despise: Distort value. Level 1 illusion, 1 minute, touch,
I've done that too.
Verbal, 8 hours, Bard, Fighter, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. Do you need to squeeze out? The way it's worded to is actually fuck you. Do you need to squeeze a few more gold pieces out of a merchant as you try to sell that weird octopus statue you liberated from the Chaos Temple? Do you need to downplay the worth of some magical assets when the tax collector stops by? Distort value. It literally says that. Distort is a sales pitch. Distort value has you covered. You cast this spell on an object no more than 1 foot on a side, doubling the object's perceived value by adding illusory nourishes or polish to it, or reducing its perceived value by half with the help of illusory scratches, dents, and other unsightly features. Anyone examining the object can ascertain its true value with a successful intelligence investigation check against your spell save DC. Fuck this spell. This spell literally
like you daggers from a dungeon at premium price.
Dude, fuck this spell. First of all, they sales pitch it in the description. So what is that about? I will say
my list I'm looking at does not have that language at all.
Oh, really?
It does. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep. You cast a spell on an object more than 1
Oh,
foot.
that's hilarious.
Yeah,
no, apparently the book it's from is Acquisitions Incorporated, so I guess take that for what you will.
Yeah. It might just be the favorite language of that whole book.
Right, and they just added it because that's hilarious. But no, this is my issue. I reading it, I kind of like the idea of, oh, hey, like a tax collector, or like, hey, you're trying to get, like kind of swindle somebody to be like, oh, don't worry, this isn't valuable, you don't want this. I like that aspect of it. But every player is always trying to rip off every merchant known to man, and Distort value enables them, and so fuck this spell. Connor approves. Of course he does. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
absolutely not.
I have given up and embraced the distortion of economy in my games. But I get it back. Any dollar I give to the party, I get back tenfold.
So I'm taking it back. Taxation.
That is more of the nature of the setting I'm in. Distort value, I would say I wouldn't like. I don't believe it's in Star Wars 5e, but I hope it's not. If that makes any sense.
Logan's looking it up right now. I can see it. He's like,
it's not Star Wars 5e. I looked it up earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, the only time I used it was in your game playing Bard selling daggers. I got, instead of 15 gold, I got 30 gold, baby. That was it. And it felt fucking good. And that's the only reason I liked it, is because as a player, I got jack shit really in price off it. But it felt good. Like, I played a charismatic guy, and I have this to add to it. I'm just making a dagger more expensive. But I will say the limiting on size is pretty good. What I would change is when you upcast, maybe the size of the object could be a bit bigger.
No, that's exactly what it says. I don't know if you read that.
Oh, I did. Just I have a cropping.
When you cast this spell using a spell, the maximum size of it is increased. Yeah.
Awesome. So casting it at 5th level, I could make this great axe look like it was ordained by God.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Literally, exactly right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Love this spell. No notes for me.
All right, pass. Boo spell.
Yeah, I do like the duration's 8 hours on this too. Is kind of nice because you have time to get out of town.
Yeah, literally, that's the worst part.
I think it leans towards a type of game that I think a lot of players fall into, which is I want to be a hero if it's convenient, but failing that immediate opportunity of righteousness on the assumption I'm getting money out of it, I will devolve to a vagabond con man, and I'll do whatever I can. I'll do whatever I can to make $1 and kill a bitch. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, that tracks. Yep. Fucking.
Yeah. I understand your distaste for it, but being the guy who used this on you, I've had a good time. I had a great time.
You know what, Connor? What's your spell that you like? What's the next? Yeah, we're gonna go back to the top. What's the spell that you?
Another spell I like. Love. We use it plenty of times on the Frost Trail. Is Leomund's Tiny Hut.
Yes, bro.
Tiny Hut. Yeah, so good on that campaign. Dude. It was so good. It's a fun spell. It takes casting time's a minute. I used to ritual cast it to make it a little bit better. But yeah, 3rd level, 1 minute, range of self, and a 10-foot 10-foot radius hemisphere. Duration 8 hours. 10-foot radius immobile dome of force springs into existence around and above you and remains stationary for the duration. The spell ends if you leave its area. 9 creatures of medium size or small can fit inside the dome with you. The spell fails if the area includes a large creature or more than 9 creatures. Creatures and objects in the dome, when you cast it, can move through it freely. All creatures and objects barred from passing. All creatures and objects are barred from passing through it. Spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be cast through it. The atmosphere inside the space is comfortable and dry regardless of the weather outside, which during the Frost Trail was
amazing. Yeah, literally.
Was amazing. Until the spell ends, you can command the interior to be dimly lit or dark. The dome is opaque from the outside, or any color you choose, but it's transparent from the inside. So, in that campaign, for those of you who didn't watch the Frost Trail, which I would recommend, it was a fun campaign. We had a good time with.
Yes, sir.
The big thing, I don't know if as we're traveling through a cold-ass fucking trail, and survival was a huge thing. And me playing a blade-seeking wizard, I didn't bring a tent. I had this spell. I always kept the 3rd level spell slot. If combat was getting bad, you better need a fucking 2nd level spell, because I was keeping this locked in.
Yeah, dude, Demon Tent is sick.
And yeah, it was also just really nice. There's a lot of cold effects that could stack. A lot of people could, take different effects. And yeah, but like you could be comfortable inside. It was a very good spell. And also just dungeon crawling, even if the dangerous environment you're in is a cobblestone room, and who knows if you go left or right, there's gonna be a fucking monster. You need a long rest. You've got 8 hours. In Tiny Hut.
Well, that's what's also kind of like really insane about the spell too, is that literally all other creatures and objects are barred from passing through. Spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome. It's literally impervious. It's like, which is like, that's such a good spell, man. 3rd level for that is such a good circumstantial spell.
I will say, as a DM, one spell could do 1,000 things to it, or really one thing. It's called the spell magic. And True. I would absolutely do that to the party,
right?
To interrupt their long rest.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it's true. But like, I mean, just think of like outside the realms of that. I mean, it is really good.
Yeah, there's really nothing else.
I would like to specify though, and I've always ruled it otherwise. I've always ruled it as designation, but the spell technically does say that the creatures that are allowed to be inside have to be inside at the time of casting. That also came up during the Frost Trail, but I was like, fuck it, whatever. Just designate them. Who cares?
Yeah. No, that's the fun thing about D&D. There's no hard rules. We're not playing a video game. Like, it's more convenient. It's more fun and flavorful to do it this way. You know, but a huge fan of Tiny Hut. I think a lot of people who have used it are fans of Tiny Hut.
Great spell.
Okay, real quick. Do you guys know what the spell Rope Trick is?
Yes, I love this spell.
I was literally about to say, I just didn't want to double dip, but yeah, I love Rope Trick too.
Yeah, Rope Trick's actually like, I mean, for those that don't know, it's literally like, it's like Tiny Hut, but it's inverted, and it's like a cool secret clubhouse in the sky, and it's pretty fun. What is it? It's a 3 foot by 5 foot window centered on. Oh wait, sorry. How large is the space?
I think fairly large.
The space can hold as many as 8 medium or smaller creatures. The rope can be pulled into the space, making the rope. It's interesting. This is a 2nd level spell. Oh, it only lasts an hour. Okay, that's a big stipulation.
Yeah, you can short rest in here technically.
Yeah, Rope Trick's fun though because it's a freaking treehouse. It's like
also you can shoot out of it technically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I will say, if anybody who's watched Dimension 20, there was the saddest instance of someone using Rope Trick in the Crown of Candy. So that's always what I attribute Rope Trick to.
Oh hell yeah!
There's another one, not another D&D podcast I was listening to, had one of the most depressing uses of Rope Trick too, and then I was like,
probably the same cast of people playing both games.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh shit! Really? Okay. Well, my experience with the Rope Trick is that my party actually used it to like save time, so then disturb like the big ass monster they're trying to plot to kill. So I actually had a positive experience with it.
That is the most common. I think the sad use of Rope Trick is really just like save me, type thing, which is in a bad situation.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But like Rope Trick, as far as its utility, I mean, Tiny Hook could be used the same way. If you're spending 10 minutes as people are holding the line and the fighter goes down and he's not in the radius, Tiny Hut goes down.
True.
It could be a similar thing. Rope Trick has the benefit of dramatic timing.
Yep. It's true. All right, Logan.
Another spell, like, you have to give me a sec. I'm looking at spells.
Alright, I'm up. Okay, so another spell that I absolutely love, and that's a go-to for me. Let me choose from my list here. Okay, I'm actually a really fan. I've actually chose a lot of low-level spells, so I feel like a lot of these low-level spells, these ones are real, like kind of big outliers because, low-level spells, I mean, I feel like the low-level spells of play are very diverse in just, like, their utility. So I think for this next one, I'm going to go ahead and do Bane. I really like the spell Bane. Level 1, enchantment, 1 action, 30 feet, concentration up to 1 minute. Up to 3 creatures of your choice that you can see within range must make a charisma saving throw. Whenever a target that fails the saving throw makes an attack roll or saving throw before the spell ends, the target must roll a d4 and subtract the number rolled from the attack roll or saving throw. I love this spell because it is a little bit of a shotgun. And that being at first level, when you don't have a lot of resources, especially as a low-level caster, it kind of is nice because it's not like an all-in-one or an all-or-nothing kind of spell. You do have 3 attempts against different creatures. I think at the lower levels, a d4 is huge when it comes to some of these things because, like, it's just the low levels, man. Like, the DCs are kind of, like, not the people don't have a bunch of different modifiers to, pick up the slack, and so it's very almost like raw just numbers. And so I think a D4 subtraction is just super good. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times, even in the higher echelons of play, that D4 could be the difference between a save or a fail or attack missing or hitting. So I love it.
D&D is a numbers game, so anything that's blatantly subtracting numbers is depending on the DC, mathematically it could be better than even imposing disadvantage.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly, 100%. Yeah, and that's the thing too is I like that you get to like do something too consistently throughout. That's what I've enjoyed about Bane is it almost gives you agency outside of your turn because you're like, hold on, let me roll my d4. Hold on.
Let me get my mitts involved.
Yeah.
And fuck you for 3.
Yeah, exactly. I love it, man. I love Bane. So. Go ahead.
Oh no. Bane and Bless, just 2 spells that I love. I love
Bless,
having access to both of them. Just you can change combat a little bit, you can change rolls a tiny bit, and they don't do anything like crazy, but it affects the dice in such like a small way that is nice, and it doesn't ever feel infuriating no matter what.
Yeah, and it's also like a big resource too. I think I already deleted it. And it's a range 30 feet. It's not super far, but it definitely, and it's concentration. So it's real. I'm always a fan of spells like that. That just lasts, and as long as you can take cover, like you're not like they're getting that for 10 rounds. You know, that's really good. So it's just a solid spell. And like you brought up Bless too. Opposite side of that, give everyone a D4. Also super good. Like it's super strong. So all right.
I'm gonna go with another classic, Shield.
Oh, I thought about doing that, but I was like, Shield is literally, I love Shield.
I use Shield all the time. Yes.
Shield is a classic spell.
Classic.
It is one
I would
of,
say
like,
top 5 D&D spells of all time. Literally cannot refute.
It's a staple, you know? You see it in almost every single campaign you play. Someone takes Shield. The +5 bonus to AC as a reaction is just so good, as well as it being a first level spell slot. Like, that's crazy.
It's
and
nuts.
it also doesn't drop if something happens to you, which getting knocked, getting stunned or something like that, and you've already cast Shield on yourself, Shield stays up.
Right, it's not concentration.
So that's another it's super good for that aspect. I mean, Shield's just such a good spell. And like you were saying, like it's a numbers game, it comes down to it. +5 to your AC really affects your numbers in like a major way. And there's no dice roll attached to it or anything. It's wild. As well as it's stopping magic missile. Beautiful.
Well, it's also insane too, and I also forget that because this is what's crazy about Shield too is I sometimes forget that it lasts until your next turn. Like I usually think of it as like a oh, I need to deflect the spell, but the fact that you get a +5 AC for an entire round of combat, it's the start of your turn, right? Yeah, start of your next turn. That's so good, man. It's so, but I feel like it's so good, but like it belongs at first level. You know, it's not so crazy. Where if it was at second level, it would honestly be too much. That'd be too many resources. But first level, it's such a perfect like when you're higher level of play, it gives your first level spells so much power.
I will say, not in D&D, but in Star Wars 5e, there is a spell. They have Energy Shield, which is shield at level 1. Level 3, they have a spell that I don't know if D&D 5e has a 1-to-1 conversion, but in this one it's called Instant Translocation. What it does is when you're hit, you have a +5 to your AC for just that attack, but as part of that same reaction, you can teleport 30 feet away and make one weapon attack with advantage against the person.
What level is that?
That's a 3rd level spell.
Oh, 3rd. Okay, so that's sick though.
You get hit. I used it as a boss used it. So he got hit, the AC went up to 5, blocked the attack, teleported 30 feet, turned back, shot with advantage.
That's super cool.
Pretty fucking cool.
That's like cinematic shit, man. That's cool. I love that. And that's what
I will say.
Oh,
but that was the only one it was +5 to just that one attack. So he instead of having +5 to his AC the rest of the turn, Logan rolled up on him and did some fucking damage.
He said, "I don't think so," but shanking him.
And look, man. You either make it out of the range that you can sprint in one turn with melee weapons, or you die.
Or you die. He chose the latter.
Or if there's elevation, you gotta get high, man. You gotta get up somewhere. No, but I think I love spells that really draw out like just like kind of the cinematography and like the just like combat and just make it super interactive. Like that's what I like about Shield 2 is like it's that reactive kind of portion of combat where it's like they're going into their strike and you cast something and then there's that back and forth slightly in combat. It's really cool. So good choice.
I think all three of us are big fans of reactions as spell effect. because for one, it keeps your players engaged, and then just like there's a whole new level of combat where you don't normally get to do stuff as a spellcaster, and now shield.
Boom.
Fuck you.
Literally, hell
fuck you and fuck everybody else who's shooting arrows. I do have another spell at the higher levels of play, if we want to get into that I like.
Okay, so we could do, if you guys want to do, honestly just choose one, because we were gonna do one that you like but you would improve. But if you want to do one that you just like, man,
we can go back to that, because this is just a spell I just fucking love.
Dude, then just
say it. 8th level.
Say it, yeah, say it. Let's do it. Go ahead.
Okay, there you go. Casting time is a minute, which makes sense. The duration is concentration up to 6 rounds. It's called Tsunami.
Tsunami, baby.
The range is sight.
Oh.
And that's the end of the list. A wall of water springs to existence at a point you choose within range, which is where you could fucking see. You make the wall up to 300 feet long, 300 feet high, and 50 feet thick. And the wall lasts for the duration. What I love about when the wall appears, each creature within the area switches strength saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 6d10 bludgeoning damage, or half as much on a successful save. It's an 8th level spell. It's just below Wish. So,
yeah.
It's gonna be crazy. At the start of each of your turns after the wall appears, the wall, along with the creatures in it, move 50 feet away from you. Any huge or smaller creature, so anything but gargantuan. Any huge or smaller creature inside the wall or whose space the wall enters when it moves must succeed a strength saving throw or take 5d10 bludgeoning damage. A creature that can take this damage only once per round. At the start of the turn, the wall's height reduces by 50 feet. The damage creatures take from the spell on subsequent rounds is reduced by 1d10, so it gets weaker as it moves. When the wall reaches 0 feet in height, the spell ends to a total of 6 rounds. A creature caught in the wall can move by swimming, but it must make the strength save to actually move. This spell does a ton of damage, but it also changes it is a scene changer if the spell comes into play. 100%. That's what I love about it. It's just like, I'm gonna take this army besieging the wall, I'm gonna build a new wall in front of the siege and push everybody 300 feet away. If you do the full extent, 300 feet.
300 feet high. Imagine you're just fighting, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Hey, yo, why is the sun gone, bro?" And then
It's like,
it's just one of those things that like spellcasters get pretty powerful, right? And this has like the most. Meteor Storm is fine. This is fucking amazing. This is like one of my favorite. Like, I'm gonna do damage to a vow spells. I think that D&D really has.
Yo, what were you gonna say, Logan?
It's a cool spell.
Oh no, this is just like, that's like you're taking an entire city kind of spell. Anything in the nearby area is absolutely just gone anytime you cast that spell. It's an amazing spell, and I absolutely love it.
I will say, as a DM, if I knew a player was preparing to cast it, I would make sure there is a gargantuan creature involved. Just so you see all the huge, small soldiers flying around in the Turesk just standing in the tsunami, not moving.
Hell yeah.
Because it just it's a really, as we're saying, cinematic. This is like fucking, it takes a minute to cast at 8th level. There's a reason for it, you know? But I think it smells like this that I think spellcasters in D&D aspire to be able to do.
Yeah.
Like, if they might be thinking about Wish, might be thinking about Meteor Swarm, might be thinking about like teleportation, but like this is like a spell to like makes the campaign fucking feel like, oh, I'm a grand wizard now. Look at this shit.
I was gonna just say, I was like, that's a spell that just makes you feel powerful as fuck. Like, a lot of spells do like cool things and do powerful things, but you just created a 300-foot tall tsunami. Like, that is power, bro.
But it's also, it's basic D&D, it's a minute. It's 10 rounds of combat. You're defending the guy getting ready to cast a spell. You know?
Right.
Everybody else is defend the guy. Like, you pretty much make an encounter based on a motherfucker trying to cast the spell. Yep. Where the wizard is not involved. He's busy casting.
Dude, it'd be even more interesting is if like you had an encounter where the wizard's trying to cast this to jumpstart like boats that need to flee from a city.
Oh, absolutely.
With like a tsunami or like with some sort of fuck whatever. Yeah, you know, like
yeah,
we're
no,
like the.
I know exactly what you mean. It's just like the boats are there, but we need to get them out and fuck. We're taking the short route, defend the wizard.
yeah,
who's
exactly.
also sacrificing himself because he's gonna be stuck on the beach. It goes away from him.
Yeah.
So now he needs to figure out how to paddle real quick to even meet up with the fleet. You know.
He needs to cast surfboard and get the fuck out of there.
Hell yeah, dude.
I like encounters like that too, and especially having a spell like this that starts that encounter of you're not trying to kill everything in the area. You're trying to meet the requirement, and the requirement is survive 10 rounds of combat.
Yo, it's like Halo
absolutely.
reaches final mission. It's to survive, and you're just like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. And it also at level 8 spells, you have, you know, your fighter and your paladin front lines. It's like while you're casting this spell, they're going off too. They're gonna have their moments in the campaign of like just haste is cast by the sorcerer, and then also spellless is druid. By the way, I keep saying wizard. It's the druid who casts this.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So the druid gets to do some.
Don't worry, the
insane
rogue
shit.
arcane trickster. How does that make sense? The rogue. Oh, I apologize. I pulled up my next spell. I'm like, how the fuck does a rogue arcane trickster cast Tsunami? Wait.
A man like a rogue pulls out a hat, pulls a bunny out of a hat, puts it back in, pulls out a whole tsunami out of the hat, and you're like, what?
Yeah, like he pulls the bunny and you see like he carefully positions the hat away from him, pulls a cork out.
Yeah. Dunk. All right, yeah. Logan. What's a spell you love, you wish it was better, or you hate?
This is a spell I enjoy. This is a spell that it brings me pure joy anytime it gets cast in the campaign.
All right.
Reverse Gravity.
Oh,
a 7th level transmutation, casting time 1 action, range 100 feet that you can cast it, and it encompasses 150-foot radius, 100 high cylinders centered in on a point within range.
Hell yeah.
This spell reverses gravity in a 50-foot radius, 100-foot high cylinder. All creatures and objects that aren't being somehow anchored to the ground fall upwards and reach the top when you cast this spell. A creature can make a dexterity saving throw to grab onto something, thus avoiding the fall. If some object, such as a ceiling, is encountered in this fall, falling objects and the creatures strike it just as they would normal downward fall. If any objects or creatures reach the top of the area without striking anything, it remains there, oscillating slightly for the duration. At the end of the duration, the affected objects and creatures fall back down. Just very good, man. I mean,
Yeah.
You send something up 100 feet in the air. I think you fall a rate of 80 to 100. I don't actually know what the rate is.
I remember looking it up, and it was an insane rate of fall. I think you're hitting the top within a turn for sure.
So you're smashing into the top of it. If not, and you're just like trying to get from point A to point B. I've used this a couple of times in my campaign where items are falling the entire time, and so like people have had a chance to like try and jump from object to object to make their way out without
upside
slamming.
down.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I had a lot of fun stuff. And then not only that, say you catch like you're getting chased by the city guards because you just swindled them for a single paper clip that you sold because you thought God had touched it.
Because you just sorted value, so it was
okay.
Yeah.
You catch them all with it. They slam into whatever is up there. If there's nothing up there, they're just sitting at 100 feet in the air. And then the spell ends.
You have to accept you're killing the card.
The spell ends, bro.
Yeah.
And they're falling another 100 feet to the ground, man.
Yeah. In Critical Rules Calamity, EXU Calamity, this spell was cast in one of their combats. And it happened like in a street, but it was like it's also a centerpiece type of spell. You know what I mean? Like it's changing. If you're fighting staying around reverse gravity, it is changing the entire environment of everything. Especially like even if you're trying to like say I'd almost say like if someone was trying to fire an arrow through there, like depending on who's doing it, am I giving them an advantage, disadvantage? Because the arrow's gonna arc down, arc up, arc back down. Gravity's reversed, It
adds like a cool environmental, component.
I mean, one of my like favorite uses for it as my headset absolutely just dies.
As your camera biffs it with it.
My favorite is having a paladin that can cast Thunderous Smite, where they absolutely just yeet someone into it because it knocks them 15 feet away from where that was cast. So you just baseball people to the reverse.
Wait, and you can keep switching it, right?
You know what you could do? In a seafaring campaign, you could cast this. You could cast this in a seafaring campaign. Everybody goes up, and so does all the water. So you're drowning them up there because they can't get away from. They have to swim up away. Yeah, you can do some fucked up shit.
Can you reverse it too, or can you like switch the direction, or is it one direction?
It's one direction.
Okay.
Like the band.
Oh, word.
Yeah. I figured that'd help you out.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. You're help.
That's good. That's good. No, yeah, reverse gravity's fun.
Do you have a spell that you love?
So, well, during that, you guys could bring up cool, high level spells. So I didn't want to, feel left out with my. Oh, I was gonna bring up message, and I felt I was like, that's so
Message is a good spell. Let's give it its time in the sun. Message is a great spell.
Message is a great spell, but I want to do a different spell now because y'all get all the fun. With them high level spells. But this one isn't super high, but I love this spell just as an idea and as I wouldn't say I don't think it's widely known necessarily, and you might not think about using it, but I think if you were to, it'd be super cool. 5th level legend lore. Divination, 10 minutes, self. You need incense worth at least 250 gold, which the spell consumes, and 4 ivory strips worth at least 50 gold pieces each. I like this also because then it kind of requires you to almost go on a little bit of a hunt. If you almost, it can be a side quest of we want to discover something about this item or whatever it is. Let's go on a quest and get these things. But name or describe a person, place, or object. The spell brings to your mind a brief summary of the significant lore about the thing you named. The lore might consist of current tales, forgotten stories, or even secret lore that has never been widely known. If the thing you named isn't of legendary importance, you gain no information. The more information you already have about the thing, the more precise and detailed the information you receive is. The information you learn is accurate but might be couched in figurative language. For example, if you have a mysterious magic axe on hand, the spell might yield this information. Woe to the evildoer whose hand touches the axe, for even the half slices the hand of the evil ones. Only a true child of stone, lover and beloved of Moradin may awaken the true power of the axe only with the sacred word Rude Nog on the lips. Okay, yeah, anyway. Rude Nog, baby. No, but and I would actually disagree. I think it's kind of a dumb stipulation if the thing you named isn't of legendary importance, you gain no information. I think that a 5th level spell, legend lore, requiring all these material components, I think I would be, selective with telling certain things, but I think if you're gonna spend the time to do all those resources and figure things out, I think that you should gain something, it's a fantasy world. Nothing says you can't just randomly, get some sort of connection with the earth or with some sort of, mystical or magical means, and you get knowledge of something that might not have been, super, widely known.
Oh, yeah, dude.
But I think it's a word.
What's up, dude?
But I think it's a sick spell. I think Legend Lore is a super fun, just kind of story driven, lore based spell.
Yeah, I think Legend Lore, especially for a DM. If my player wanted to do Legend Lore, dude, please let me talk.
Exactly.
Let me tell you more about my world. There is the risk as a DM, especially if you're super married to the progression of information players are getting. Say it's an investigation type thing. Legend Lore can fuck up your shit, but I'd give it to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If
exactly.
they use Legend Lore, the language is in here that as a DM you can choose how specific the language is. Why it says information you learn is accurate but might be couched in figurative language. It lets you be, that you give them a riddle to solve too. So now you go from they have all the information, but now it's you need to learn the true nature of friendship. The true nature of friendship. It was the dude's fucking dog. How'd you not know that?
Yeah. Go unbury him.
The fates from Greek mythology, where you give them just some random prophecy, but don't actually. You give them all the end bits of it, but not actually what's gonna happen.
Right.
And then the party just starts going mad over trying to figure out what the fuck that means.
Yeah. You could make a Greek tragedy out of Legend Lore for sure. Yeah.
I think, but super cool.
Matter of fact, I recommend it.
I think the more cryptic,
that's the only way to use that. No.
Yeah.
Be as roundabout as possible. Mm-hmm. I think like you were saying, Connor, if you don't want to tell them, be roundabout. Because if it's a major plot point and you're oh shit, this would accelerate the campaign by 90 episodes. Then maybe don't give them all 90 episodes. Maybe give them 30. With a roundabout understanding of it. But I think
better yet, give them disconnected information. Give them information that won't make sense till 30 or 60.
Yeah, exactly. And then they connect it.
So they get that oh shit moment, Legend Lore is a really cool spell, but I totally agree. Hold off on some info.
Yeah.
Give them something, but
You don't gotta go crazy with it.
Yeah, I think a big thing though is to put it in especially long form TV. Where there'd be 26 episodes a season. There's 13 seasons. There's filler episodes, and then there's main story episodes. if they're doing legend lore, you don't get to choose. It's a fucking main story episode. It's like a big building block, you know. So it's like, we'll lean into it, you know.
Yeah.
They might get info on how to defeat the monster directly in front of them, but also like give them more info about the monster in front of them. Tell them about the monster that's coming, you know. They don't even know he's coming, but now they kind of like, what do you mean the shadow behind him? And you're like, and so now you got some shit happening,
Right.
you know.
And I'm pretty sure that what's the duration is instantaneous. Yeah. So casting time 10 minutes though, and then the duration is okay. Yeah.
I like the fact that it's 10 minutes of like burning herbs, and the fighter's like, "Are you done yet?" It's like takes delicate time, and he's like, and then this down and
yeah. He like opens his eyes, starts shining like white, and his brain's like rupturing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It does. The duration isn't a turn. It just is.
Yeah. Knowledge from beyond just floods your mind immediately.
Shouldn't have asked about the Elder Gods, dipshit.
Yeah,
You see, you have to make a save of your brain. You don't retain any of it. That'd be so ass. You instead you suffer psychic damage. That'd be okay.
Yeah,
hold on.
You're under the effects of the Contagion spell.
You get mind fire. Yeah, we take the mind fire aspect of the Contagion spell. All right, we have does anyone have a spell they're dying to share? We have time for one more. Or whatever.
Not dying to share. I have stuff I could, but I'm not dying to share.
All right, I will say the majority of mine, the rest of mine aren't anything crazy. So if you guys have one that, like, I wanted to highlight Message, like I already said. Scorching Ray, I think is just a really good, fun spell. Misty Step's really good.
Great spell.
Chromatic Orb, amazing because of the damage range or the damage element type you can do to select it. But if anyone has a super fun one that they want to kind of go down the rabbit hole for a little bit. Oh, also real quick, fuck Silvery Barbs. That spell fucking blows. That's never being allowed in my fucking game.
I like it enough. Silvery Barbs is fun.
Pass Without Trace is a good spell.
Pass Without Trace is
great.
Goated spell.
Haste is a great spell.
Haste is a goated spell.
Haste is a great spell.
Haste I use very often. I make it like an effect that creatures have sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Instead of highlighting one spell, let's just keep listing off what we like.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fireball. You gotta give that at least a shout out.
Edvar's Black Tentacles.
Yo, what is it? The Armor of Agathis is a sick ass spell too.
That's just pretty sick.
Hunger of Hadar is just a whack ass dude. Hunger of Hadar came up in the Great Blade Inquisition arc, and it was funny because I think Eric cast it on like Todd, centered on Todd. So as he's fighting these these like maggots, dude, he's like swinging these like tentacles, and the slurping noises are happening around him. Hunger of Hadar is a great spell. Ironically enough, I actually found the spell Magic Weapon, and that was a spell that I literally remember how it came up in the one of the Bastion rooms where you get the Magic Weapon bullshit spell. Yeah, that was one that I think Magic Weapon is a cool concept, but I think that it's a really stupid spell. I think if you're gonna do like a second level spell that makes a weapon magical, like you should probably do more than maybe one bonus attack damage, like than just a +1 sword. I think it'd be cool if what you did was it gave it a +1 as a weapon, but then it also, instead of doing whatever like bludgeoning, piercing, you just convert that. You don't give them necessarily more damage, but you just convert it to a different type for an hour.
I think Magic Weapon in that case could be good as like this, like you guys are going to a fight, you know, you're 4th level, and it's just like, hey fighter, Magic Weapon on your weapon. Good luck out there, you know. It's like, good luck out there. I'm gonna sit in the back. I'm gonna firebolt a lot at him.
Just like machine gunning.
Yeah, but pretty much. What else are you gonna do?
Firebolt, another good spell.
I'm not insane.
Magic Missile.
Dude, Magic Missile. How can we forget? Dude, this.
Yo, I gave that one of my favorite interactions ever. Is I gave 5 NPCs a couple level 1 and level 2 slots, and the only spell they could cast was Magic Missile. I had my monk run into a room, and there's just 5 Murlocs there that all held up their wands and started fucking blasting him, dude.
Yo, I love that even more because it's a monk getting abused. I love that. Fuck monk.
You're so funny, bro.
That's hilarious. Deflect missiles, this bitch.
I'm gonna run out of the group, and I was like planning for it because every encounter the man would always like step the wind, blast away from the group, and so I was like, this room, if you had your whole party, would be like the least threatening room. However, you don't have your whole party, so there's 5 dudes just staring at you, bro, and they're about to roast your ass.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. There's certain situations that a mundane enough spell like Magic Missile, holy shit, that will get you so good every time. I'm a huge fan of Magic Missile.
Hunter's Mark
love
and
Haste.
Hex.
Hex, yeah.
Hex. Hunter's Mark. I think Hunter's Mark's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I like Hunter's Mark. Okay, quick shout out to a couple of these spells that are really like I feel like RP based and really circumstantial. Comprehend Languages, kind of a sick ass spell. Tongues, also a sick ass spell.
Speak with plants.
Speak, like I love the RP spells, and that's the thing too. Is I would like to say I feel like a lot of RP spells, some of them do kind of suck because you're like, why would I waste my time with that? And I feel like a lot of times people do take damage-based spells only because RP spells can be very circumstantial. But man, when you get a good RP spell off and it like solves the problem just like right then and there, like for instance, if your rogue sucks ass and you're in the middle of this frost-ridden trail and you need to get into this like abandoned like summer outpost, Nox a really good spell to have.
Yeah.
For instance, if someone's doing surgery on a nuclear device and someone decides to cast Mending on the problem, it might fix the situation.
I had one of my favorite interactions with Shatter was we were trying to get into this locked desk drawer. None of us had knock at the time. I had Shatter, and so I just blew the desk up. I was like, all stealth thrown out there. We tried literally everything. Our dude failed lockpicking 3 times in a row. I literally just took knock off my list because I was like, I'm not gonna need it, and I was like, fuck it, man, just cast Shatter on the desk.
I have a version of knock.
It's
clear. Yeah. I will say, for another low-level spell, I think one of my first characters I ever had was a sorcerer, and one of the first spells I ever used was Thunderwave. Fantastic spell. I've did so much damage to my party. It's a great spell. I'm a huge fan of it.
Bro, speaking of damage to the party, dude, literally, for the Great Plate Inquisition, Eric literally, I would say maybe more than half of all the damage he did was to his party, which is so up the alley for Eric as a fucking wild man. It just kills me. It's so funny. Dancing Lights also, like going back to like the whole daylight spell and stuff, like literally the fact that like because daylight spell isn't like quote unquote daylight and all the stuff that we were saying the issues are with it, bro. Dancing Lights being a cantrip is so dope. And then I love the fact that it's the flavor of like, yeah, you can also bring your Dancing Lights to be just make a humanoid of light, and yeah, that's pretty sick.
Excuse me.
In our current arc, I actually did that with my character and just had it walking around because that's just fun stuff.
Yeah. This is a new spell. I just saw the name of.
What'd you say? Logan?
Liturgy is a good spell. I like.
Liturgy's fun.
I had a spell in mind and I forgot about what we were talking.
Not sure if you're familiar with this fun little cantrip called Vicious Mockery.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of. Not a lot of damage, but a whole lot of fun.
You're a short motherfucker and nobody likes you. I don't know if you've already
that was so funny.
That's okay. I lift the body.
Oh!
Body, I lift the body.
Have you guys read the spell Ceremony?
Yeah. There's a lot of builds off that spell.
Ceremony, bro. Hey, the highlight is wedding, where basically you marry 2 people and they get ace +2 to AC for 7 days, as long as they're nearby.
Which, technically, if your campaign's chill, there's nothing wrong with polyamory. You just get married every week. You just keep it rolling.
Oh well, yeah, no, we went through and we were about to take a city, and so
wait, I think you said Logan, you're saying
me and my other friend who were both playing Paladin, we're just fucking marrying everyone. We were gonna get like 2 kobolds to come up, we'd marry them, we'd spend all of our spell slots, take a rest, come marry everyone, so everyone was married around the day that we went.
Fantastic,
dude. That's peak.
Building an army, you could have incredible logistics infrastructure. You could have metal workers. You could have bastions. You could have as many things as you want. But if you can just marry a lot of motherfuckers, they get about the same benefit.
Dude, imagine,
I don't see it. That's just economics. That's just good planning.
Well, you open up your store. You're like, yeah, I'm not selling armor, but if I marry you 2, yeah, you'll be actually like extremely durable.
I think most of Warhammer's this. Yeah, I think half of what they do is like we're about to go siege a planet. Battle brothers. Yo, you're married.
We're married.
Go get them.
I love this guy. But there's actually some other cool rituals you can do too.
Holy water is pretty nice from the.
Coming of age is pretty cool too. For the next 24 hours, it's a young adult. Whenever the target makes an ability check, you can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the ability check. A creature can benefit from this right only once. What I like about this spell is it's the first level, so it's not crazy, but it does some cool stuff, and it has different durations and stuff. But I like that it's balanced in the form of like you can do it once. Like it's supposed to be a ritual, it's supposed to be a ceremony, it's supposed to be a thing. So it's really cool, like RP, like embedded, where it's like, yeah, like maybe you do have two party members who are actually legitimately through the course of the campaign getting married, and you could like give a bonus through an actual spell through like a ritual. I think it's just fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think rewarding anything RP wise that your party's doing, they're living in the world like that. It's like they got the bonus, baby.
Or even better yet, they're not two adventurers. It's like this level 18 paladin who got married to his wife, and he now has to bring her to the battlefield to get the bonus. And so he's just defending his like commoner ass wife.
Yeah. She's just sitting there. It's like, you're doing great, sweetie. On your left.
He's like drenched in blood. Dude, or an Oath of Glory. Or no, wait, is it Oath of Glory?
Yeah.
The one where he manifests. Wait, is it Oath of Glory or is it? What's the one that manifests just like?
The new subclass.
The level 20 where it's manifest reality or whatever, where he literally
it's him.
Okay, I gotta look it up. Hold on. I can't leave that. I can't leave that on.
Can't leave it hanging. Can't leave
it's
that
just
hanging.
him, man. It's Oath of.
Yeah, it's Oath of. Yeah.
He doesn't even have a wife. He just.
Oh shit.
He's just like, it'd be awesome right now. Oh, there she is. We're married now. You're good with that? Fantastic.
Oh
Let's
shit.
go.
I think I opened the wrong one. Hold on, I gotta open the right one. Plate says 6. Come on. Come on. Is it Oath of Glory? I feel like it was called something else. Oh my gosh.
I want to say it was Oath of Glory.
Probably is. Hold on. Let's see. Paladin. This is like my favorite thing literally ever. I'm not gonna lie. Like ever since we read that, like it's just peak. Paladin. Okay, it's Hold on. I'm almost there. It just makes me happy.
It is
similar to like the Boogie Bard, It just makes me happy.
Yeah,
man.
the Boogie Bard.
God, dude, I love the Boogie Bard. I refuse to call it anything else because it isn't anything else.
It is a Boogie Bard. Is that the wrong playtest?
No, Oh, yeah. It's a living legend. You can empower yourself with the legends, whether true or exaggerated, of your great deeds. As a bonus action, you become Himothy. That's it. And I don't really need to preface anything.
You do not.
I don't need to preface
You do that,
anything.
you get married, it's all...
Hell yeah.
Good. It's pretty good abilities there.
We did it. Yeah. Hey, by the way, what's up, Arts? Unfortunately, we actually are ending our episode here. Yeah, someone. Of course, jumping in the chat a little late. We're at the end of our episode. We actually just spent the last hour and a half just talking about our favorite spells and all that entails, and just going through spells that we enjoy, spells that we think are cool but need some tweaking, and then spells that were like, this spell is whack. Why? But I mean, hey, there's always a VOD and there's always the YouTube video. There you go. But that's it. We did it, spells. And then I'm pretty sure by the request of Logan, I think next week, if we're doing it next week or whenever our next episode is dungeons. We're going to get into dungeons and talk about how we build them.
After that, dragons.
And then after that, we're done. No.
Roll credits, man.
And then after that, we're going to talk about 5th edition, whatever that means.
Fair point. And then after that, 2014, we're actually going to get into political commentary.
Oh, shit. Hell yeah. But yeah, appreciate everyone for hanging out with us as usual.
Absolutely.
Make sure you keep an eye out on the Twitch schedule to see when we'll be going live next. Last thing for this week, as far as I know, is going to be an ARC episode on Sunday. But of course, the Twitch schedule knows more than I, considering I write it and then I mind dump what is going on. So there you go.
That's good. I recommend doing that, actually.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right. Y'all take it easy. We'll catch you next time. Peace out.
Au revoir.